Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Racha, Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Banya Sharala of the Lions Den Camp, here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Banya Sharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala, here in Jacksonville, Florida. And today, I'll be coming out with a lesson. I don't have a title for it, but of course, this is from the Bishop Canuck of this camp, my brother Canuck. He put an article in the group chat, and it is talking about it's from Jerusalem Post, of course, but it's talking about Iran preparing for the day of an Israeli strike. You know, translation: Iran is preparing to make war with Esau, just like Esau's been making war with everybody else around the four corners of the earth. But let's continue. It says, for years, Iran's leaders have been open about their desire to wipe Israel off the map, and they may soon have the means to do it. And these Iranians, i.e., these Persians or Ishmael, they've been very open about the dismantling, the destruction, the taking down of the tabernacles of Edom power structure. You know, them Ishmaelites over there tired of Esau. And see, as the saying goes, see, Iran is with the shits. They ready for it. They want the fade. And they've been saying, yeah, and then they've been saying, it's like, yeah, Esau, you've been doing all this. Right when we get chance to put hands on you, we gonna do it. And this is according to Ezekiel 38. That's an evil thought that the Heavenly Father has put in the minds of those Iranians, i.e. Persians or Ishmaelites over there. So this is Ezekiel 38, verse 10. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at that same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And what are the things that have come into the minds of these Iranians and these other nations? Flat out right, destroy Babylon. Flat out right, get these Edomites out of the way. Because they see, as long as the tabernacles of Edom are in the power seat or in the driver's seat, things are gonna go to hell basically, or gonna keep going to hell, getting further and further and further worse, or more worse, I should say. So let's go ahead and read this article and get a few scriptures. It says, as Esau has recently learned, Iran's nuclear program is merely weeks away from being able to produce enough fissile material for its fully functional nuclear bomb. This disturbing news must have put Jerusalem and Washington on high alert. I'm sure that it has put Esau on high alert because Iran has been openly saying for quite some time that the first time we get any means to do anything, we're going to put the hurt on Esau. And that's basically what it's all boiling down to. These other nations going to war with each other, and Esau ultimately getting his behind kicked. These other nations going to get greased up too. But it's ultimately against Esau. And this is the Lord putting a wicked thought into their minds. Verse 11. It says, thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. Here we go. Again, it's doing the tomfoolery. It says, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates. So that's what this is what these other nations are saying, especially Iran in particular. See, Iran is they're just more forward and open with their hatred. You got to think them Iranians, they still tight about the death of Soleimani. They still tight about that. They got a problem with that. And I was under the Trump regime at that time. But these other nations are saying, and Iran in particular. It says, "Well, I will go up unto the land of unwalled villages." What is the land of unwalled villages? Babylon, aka America. It says, "I will go to them that are at rest." People here are very much at rest. They think ain't nothing finna happen, can't nothing happen. They think can't nobody make war with this place, and they feel is that they dwell safely, and they dwelling with what? Without walls, having neither bars nor gates, and they think that they're safe in a place that has no defense, that is not going to have a defense, and not going to be able to put off the destruction that's coming to this place. And these Iranians are being quite verbal and forward about it. But let's continue. It says, for years, Iran's leaders have been been open about their desire to wipe Israel off the map. So for years, Ishmael has been saying he's gonna get rid of Esau, and it says, and they may soon have the means to do it. They are going to have the means to do it according to the will and the power and the spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. And it says, while Israel has vowed to prevent the Iranian regime from attaining the world's deadliest weapon through diplomacy and sanctions, economic war, basically, demonocracy, you know, crippling economy, economical limitations. It says reports indicate that it has also been preparing to carry out a last-ditch military strike against Iran's nuclear facilities. It says, aware of Israel's determination to stymie its nuclear ambitions, Iran has prepared for the day after such attack. So these Iranians are prepared for whatever Esau finna do. They ready. They waiting on it. They done already prepared. Them Persians want to fade Esau. What you gonna do about that? Let's continue. It says, just last month, details emerged that Tehran has been mapping diaspora Jewish community. You know, Tehran. And so what that is, mapping, that's the intelligence. That's recon. Sending out scouts, gathering information. It says has been mapping diaspora Jewish communities, you know, for future retaliatory assassination campaigns in case Israel were to execute such an attack. So these Iranians are preparing to execute assassination campaigns. Should Israel decide they want to go, should Esau, I should say, decide that they want to do such an attack. It says, in addition, a new report released last week by the Zakor Legal Institute and endorsed by Stand With Us and 19 other U.S.-based nonprofits. See, Esau always trying to get people on his side. U.S.-based nonprofit reveals that Iran regime might also be behind the anonymous mapping project website targeting strategic U.S. institutions, military facilities, and Jewish NGOs in Massachusetts. So these Iranians is getting prepared. They doing their homework and they doing everything that they need to do. Because why? Because the Lord done put an evil thought into their minds. And they going to think to do evil. But let's continue. It says, when it was launched in June 2022, the mapping project was widely justifiably condemned. Of course, only by Esau. Condemned for placing considerable emphasis on Jewish institutions in need of dismantling. So there you go. These other heathens know that Esau need to get out the way. But as time went by and the project continued to make noise on social media and garner new allies like the Iranian aligned JISR Collective and regime-backed Press TV, it became increasingly clear that the map's true purpose was geared not only towards the American Jewish community, but also American institutions more broadly. So there you go. Ishmael is trying to root out Esau's power in the earth, which the Lord is going to allow that to happen. But it is going to be by the hand of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. That's how it's going to happen. And Esau's power, yes, it's going to be rooted out of the earth. They're not going to be in power anymore. Once Babylon is destroyed, that's the end of their power structure. It's over with. So once America get destroyed, done. Esau is game over. But let's continue. It says that notion was strengthened even further upon analyzing the mapping project website. So it was found to be true. It says it was found that 298 of the roughly 500 entities mapped on the site were U.S. military bases. Don't America got like over 800 some odd bases in other countries that they ain't supposed to be in? But it says, uh, but again, that notion was strengthened even further upon analyzing the mapping project website. It was found that 298 of the 500 entities mapped on the site were U.S. military bases, police stations, and FBI Homeland and Security offices. In contrast, only several dozen entities were primarily Jewish in nature. Says Rebecca Koffler, a former U.S. Salakia. Here we go with the tomfoolery again. This what happened the first time. But again, it says Rebecca Koffler, a former U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency analyst, explained that the elements of the mapping project are consistent with the tradecraft of Iranian intelligence, tradecraft, and Iran's declared policy to target U.S. persons. Ezekiel 38. Again, just putting that back in your lab. Historical precedent also points to an Iranian involvement, as the regime has long mapped and executed terrorist attacks against Jews and American targets. I'm talking about terrorist attacks. There's only one terrorist on the earth that like to call everybody else a terrorist. But basically, these Iranians have been running drills, doing VR training. Just VR training. Just using the terminology. I don't think they were. They may have been using virtual reality training. I don't know. But But the point is, these Iranians have been doing their homework. They've been preparing this whole time, doing what they do behind closed doors. But it says historical precedent also points to Iranian Salakia involvement, as the regime has long mapped and executed terrorist attacks against them people over there, Jews and American targets. It says as recently as March 2023, the Jerusalem Post revealed that Hezbollah, a U.S. designated terrorist group, an Iranian proxy, created a kill list. U.S. designated. But anyways, created a kill list of Israeli embassies, consulates, companies, local synagogues, and Jewish NGOs operating in Germany. Likewise, over the last year alone, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former National Security Advisor John Bolton, and prominent Iranian dissident Masih, Alinjad, were all the targets of assassination plots on U.S. soil orchestrated by the Iranian regime. Shit, Esau, but you can't put this judgment off that's coming to you. Them Persians ain't playing with you. They want your head. What that song was? I forget what rapper made that song. Guard your grill. Yeah, Esau, but you better guard your grill. But let's continue. It says other countries have also suffered from international terror schemes orchestrated by Iran. Yeah, okay. This includes the United Kingdom, which has allegedly seen at least 15 attempted kidnappings and assassinations in recent years of British citizens by Tehran to be threats. Perhaps Iran's most famous and deadly international terror plot was the 1994 bombing of the Association Mutual Israelita, so like it is Israelita or Argentina or AMIA, a Jewish community center in Buenos Aires where 85 people were murdered. It says the anecdotes. So there you go. These Iranians have been targeting, you know what I'm saying, these Edomites wherever they at. But of course, Esau like to lie, so you gotta be able to take the meat and spit out the bones. But let's continue. It says these anecdotes, Salakia, illustrate the lengths to which the Iranian regime will go to further its overlapping anti-American, anti-Western, and anti-Semitic. Dude, I made up word. Ain't no such thing as anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic is a made up word. It would be anti-Shemitic or Shemitic. You know what I'm saying? Agenda. And an agenda that is front and center within the mapping project, which argues that the U.S. Army and the U.S. military broadly exist to enforce the United States hegemonic and unilateral control over global affairs. What is that? He keepeth not at home. As a matter of fact, here we go. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, because he also transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So Esau, he transgresseth by his wine, his philosophies, his beliefs, his doctrines. He's a proud man, thinks ain't nothing gonna happen, can't nothing happen, won't nothing happen. Neither keepeth at home. Now, what did it say? It says the U.S. Army and the U.S. military broadly exist to enforce the United States hegemonic and unilateral control over global affairs. That's Esau not keeping at home. He enlarges his terror, he enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death. Everywhere Esau go, somebody die and some bull crap happen. And cannot be satisfied. Esau ain't never ever satisfied with the little bit that he got. He just got to keep getting and keep getting and keep getting. It says, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Just look at Babylon. They call it the melting pot. Who the Lord finna make it a real melting pot. Let's continue. It says, and spreads conspiracy theories about Zionist leaders and NGOs. The only one who spread conspiracy is Esau. But let's continue. See, and that's the thing. These Iranians, they ain't hiding. They telling Esau straight up to his face, we want the fade. We want them problems. Come give it to us. Because it's the first time we get an opportunity to give you a problem, Ishmael, like the first time we get a chance to give you a problem, Esau, but we gonna give you hell. So, but Esau want to be behind closed doors and be slick because he fears the eyes of men, but fail to realize that the Heavenly Father's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Salakia, we keep having the problems with this tomfoolery. But yeah, but let's continue. Cause the devil. But let's continue. And I'm gonna start back at my point. It says the U.S. military and the U.S. So like the U.S. Army and the U.S. military broadly exist to enforce the United States hegemonic and unilateral control over global affairs. They want everybody to be like America, but these other nations ain't having it. Just look at Uganda. Let's continue. It says, and spreads conspiracy theories about Zionist leaders and NGOs. This is there is a real concern that the purpose of the mapping project is to assist and enable the targeting of American institutions by terror operatives. No duh. But y'all keep saying terror. Y'all keep trying to throw that terrorist word in there. That what it is. That'll. It's a terminology that I'm not. That is slipping my mind right now. A key word, but that's not it though. A trigger word. There we go. A trigger word. Terror, terrorist. They're using that trigger word. But let's continue. It says whether they work for Iran directly or simply share the Iranian regime's animus for these targets. The last little bit. It says the Ayatollah and Tehran have described Israel as the small Satan. Whoa. Wow. The small Shaitan. the Ayatollahs in Tehran. Them Ishmaels, like, but they consider Israel the baby devil, the baby Satan, the baby Shaitan. And it says, and the United States as the big one. And guess what? They couldn't be righter than a turn. I should say they couldn't be righter than a right turn. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Them devils is over there causing problems, and they over here causing problems. They're in the earth causing problems. They do not hide their eagerness to destroy Israel before turning their sights towards the U.S. You got darn right. It is only fitting when you have messed up a country with all kind of manners of tomfoolery, sanctions, tariffs, all this, and destroyed their economy. Yeah, you're right. They ready to get rid of the problem, and and Ishmael know who the problem is in the earth. Ishmael knows this. See, they put these what is this? These articles out like this, thinking that, oh yeah, they're gonna garner people to their side. Nah, man, the men of the Lord are watching, and this is very befitting of a destructive man. If you're gonna be destructive in the earth, destruction is gonna come to you. You sow it, it's coming. You reaping it. So again, it says they don't hide their eagerness to destroy Israel before turning their sights towards the U.S. They have a problem with the U.S. They killed Soleimani. Shouldn't have killed that man. The Persians still tight about that. It says the findings in our new in-depth report about the mapping project should serve as a wake-up call for the FBI, Department of Justice, and other American security agencies regarding the threat of Iranian plots targeting the American homeland. And this is not an Iranian plot. This is not a threat. This is prophecy. It says the Iranian regime is prepared for the day after a potential Israeli strike on its nuclear facilities. And so should the U.S. government. So there you go. These Iranians is ready. And this same mindset that the Iranians have, these other nations around the four corners of the earth are going to get that same mindset. Whether they're out in the forefront with it, or whether they're just keeping their mouth closed and plotting. But nonetheless, the Lord is not playing with you, Esau. This is the end for you. This is the end of the line. It is over. The bus ride is done, Salakia. Continuing, just had to go out to the door real quick. But we still here in Habakkuk. Let's read verse 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So the vision is yet for an appointed time. What's the vision? The vision is what? To take down the power structure of Esau. To get those Jewish, those JOOISH Jews, those Jewish, you know, saying like Eric Cartman said on South Park when he called forget what his name was, like somebody's, you know, he said the JOO, you know, but but the vision is yet for an appointed time, and the vision is what? The destruction of all wickedness on the four corners of the earth, uprooting or rooting out the wicked out of the earth, taking down the tabernacles or the border of wickedness. It's for an appointed time, so it's going to come. And we're seeing it before our very eyes. The Heavenly Father is doing a miraculous, great, wonderful work before our eyes. We are seeing the downfall of our enemies. But let's continue. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So though it may seem like it may be taking a while or happening at a slow rate, still wait for it, because it's gonna happen. It is gonna happen. Ain't no if, and, or buts about it. But let's jump down to verse 6. It says, shall not these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So again, It says, shall not these other nations take up a parable and a taunting proverb against Esau? It says, woe to him. Woe means destruction. That increases in that which is not his. And Esau has increased in a lot of things that's not his, mainly the land of Israel. That belonged to the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, and the speckled bird of Israel. It belonged to the Israelites. That's why they're Israel. That's why they over there they're Israelis and not Israelites. Cause see, being an Israelite, that comes with something. It comes with weight. It holds weight. It holds power. And the Lord ain't finna allow no what it is, no perpetrator, no pretender, no faker to be called by his name. To allow a false people to call themselves what they are not. And Esau, of course, he's laded himself with thick clay. It says, verse 7, it says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So again, suddenly should basically the Lord is asking. This is a question. Shall not these other nations rise up suddenly and bite thee, attack, destroy, and awake and shall vex thee? And this is very vexing to Esau, because Iran is talking much trash. And then guess what? They ready to back it up too. They waiting on a reason to back it up. As a matter of fact, they waiting. It's like a bully messing with somebody, messing with everybody else in the school, but you got that one person. That's like, yeah, you come over here, I'm gonna break you in half. I ain't with none of that, so don't even bring you behind over here. But it's like, but just in case you think you might want to sneak me, I'm ready for you. That's basically what Iran is saying, and these other nations are gonna get that same sentiment. And guess what? It's gonna what? America's gonna be booty for these other nations, i.e., treasure, ripe for the taking. Why? Because this place has spoiled many nations. Esau has spoiled many nations on the earth, and the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Meaning these other nations are gonna rise up and start taking from America, start making things happen, like crashing the economy and various things like that, and gonna make us spoil. Why? Because of men's blood. Esau has shed so much blood on the earth, and the violence of the land, for the city of all that dwell therein. So Esau got a lot to pay for. Got a lot to pay for. Ain't no I'm sorry's. Ain't no hey let's agree to disagree. Let's let bygones be bygones. No, these other nations finna do Esau a dirty one. This is Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, let us rise up against her in battle. So an ambassador, the Lord has sent the message of destruction and judgment to a particular racial demographic of people in the earth, because they're the ones who's jacking up everything. These other nations are going to rise up against her, i.e., America, Esau's power structure in battle. Verse 2. Behold, it's like it says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. So the Lord has made Esau small among the heathen, of the other heathen nations, and what? Greatly despised. Iran is showing that disposition of despising Esau. He's showing it. These other nations are also showing it. China don't do America. And now Africa don't do America, especially Uganda in particular. So these other nations are getting pissed, and more pissed. Verse 2. So like it, verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So Esau's pride has deceived him. He thinks that he could just go anywhere and everywhere and do anything and everything, and nobody not check that chin. That's not gonna happen because his habitation is high, because he got power in the earth. You know, he got a lot of things he can do. He wanna think in his heart that, oh, well, ain't nobody gonna take me down. Can't nobody do nothing to me. Psych. And Russia is gonna be the forefront of that. Russia gonna be the one that's leading these other nations, because Russia is enough. The Lord gonna make Russia just enough to overtake and overpower and destroy Babylon. Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh. So just because Esau has his satellites and his space stations and his uh military capabilities of being up high and things like that, the Lord says he's gonna bring all that down. The Lord says, I'm gonna bring you down, Esau. It's over. So yeah, you Edomites over there in Israel and you Edomites over here in Babylon, yeah, you need to be afraid. Yeah, you should be spooked. You should be spooked. You think ain't nothing gonna happen with the Lord, so he gonna bring you down to the ground. Verse 7. I'm gonna jump down to verse 7. You know what? Verse 6. It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up? So how are these things searched out and hid things sought up? By the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's how. The Lord exposing Esau, lifting up the skirt of this place, showing just what and who these people really are. Verse 7, my last point. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in them. So all the men of the confederacy, all the nations that used to be aligned with Babylon, such as China, Russia, Africa, Brazil, all these other nations, Iran, India, all the other nations that were once in Confederate have brought Esau even to the border. The men that were at peace with them, these other nations, have now deceived America. America thinking that, oh yeah, I got allies, and we're just gonna be allies forever. But these other nations are starting to see, and they're just playing. How do you say, playing possum or playing coy. And right when they get a chance to get up out from among America and do deals without America, guess what? That's what they do. That's what it means by all the men that were at peace with thee have deceived America, thinking, oh yeah, we cool, yeah. Then the other nation like, hey yo, I got this such and such over here. You know what I'm saying? I know you got such and such. You want to broker a deal between us? We ain't gotta have America. And the other nations like, yeah, we can do that. You can do that. You know, that's basically what that is. Got America think, oh yeah, they ain't finna do nothing. Then as soon as America get on TV, on mainstream media and say, oh, this not gonna do, and guess what? You hear on alternative news media that these other nations are brokering the deal. Instead of doing trilateral, they're not doing bilateral. Dealing between each other, cutting America out. That's what it means by the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. So not only have they deceived America, they've prevailed against America. I mean, they've succeeded in doing whatever it is they was doing contrary to America. And when this is all, and this is what? They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. Those that have eaten the bread of this place did deals, did business. They have laid a wound under this place. Why? By abandoning the dollar. By throwing off deals made between themselves and America, backing out of deals, nullifying them, cutting them out, stopping them. And that's laying a wound unto America. Russia done walked away from the American dollar. China done walked away from the American dollar. So a lot of nations done walked away from the American dollar. That's a wound unto this place. Because the dollar has no more purchasing power, Salakia. So it's over. So this here article, the water, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and also to the brother, the Bishop Kanaka, this camp for putting this article in the chat. It's just prophecy happening before our very eyes. It's over, Esau. Shalom.